Part 68. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 671. Chapter 671. Everyone in the Xiao organization couldn't help but be dumbfounded. Damn it! The door of the library can actually talk. And he calls himself the king? Are you pretending like this? Onel put his hands on his hips and showed an interesting look. Okay, that's interesting. If you want to pass this gate, you still need a test? This is interesting. I don't know what kind of tests you are talking about. The light screen in the library flashed, and the shadow of a blonde young lady appeared in front of everyone. He crossed his arms and looked at Onel with a somewhat unhappy expression. He curled his lips and said, "Human, I am a librarian with infinite wisdom and the authority to open the treasure house of knowledge. Do you think it is appropriate for you to talk to me like this?" Onel directly sarcastically said, "Oh, then you seem to be a spiritual intelligence composed of magic power. Are you a human?" You. Xiao Zhengtai was suddenly speechless after being rebuffed like this. Although this greeting does not sound very respectful, he thinks that he is an incarnation of noble magic, composed of supreme wisdom, and has the authority to enter and exit the treasure house of magic knowledge. He thinks that he is superior to others. However, it seems that if you really want to answer this question, then you really are not a human being. But this answer seems a bit weird. No matter how you answer, it seems that you are at a disadvantage. Xiao Zhengtai felt frustrated, snorted, and directly bypassed the question. He didn't want to answer, and instead said, "If you people want to gain access to the treasure trove of magical knowledge, you need to prove it." "Oh? So how can we prove it?" Bai Yu said with a smile. At the same time, the white eyes that could see through everything had also opened. She quietly conveyed her consciousness to everyone's thoughts and said, "Don't worry, everyone, this phantom is the incarnation of the consciousness of the library here. Although it has its own judgment ability and seems to have a certain personality, it can only rely on the rules here to do things. If we break in rashly, this guy will be able to obtain Dharma God level authority, and he will be an enemy that is difficult to defeat for us. Therefore, it is better to wait for the opportunity and see what kind of test he can do, and then just pass it. Don't worry, this administrator can only act according to the rules set by the original creator. We have obtained the certification qualification to enter, so there should be no problem." Everyone also nodded secretly. With Bai Yu's words, it was like giving everyone in the team a reassurance, and they calmed down completely. There is no need to worry about whether this administrator will do something to everyone. Something bad will happen. Anyway, as long as it's not a direct battle, but a test, then the soldiers will come to cover up the water and the earth will be over. There is no need to do too many things. Snort. This group of humans actually secretly communicated behind my back. Don't let me know yet. Do you think your little thoughts can escape this king's sight? The blonde young Shota put his hands on his hips and murmured to himself disdainfully. This sentence surprised everyone in the Akatsuki organization. They didn't expect that this guy could actually know that they were communicating with their spiritual thoughts. It seemed like he does have some hidden skills. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 672. This brat could actually eavesdrop on our conversation behind our back. Everyone in the Akatsuki organization, as well as members of the Dark Knight Alliance, Xin Chen Pavilion, and the Wizard Gang, are all transmitting messages to each other in the same spiritual channel. When they learned about this little shot, they were able to know that they were when they communicated, everyone showed extremely surprised expressions. He, don't you admire me very much? You know how powerful this king is. Human beings, you can't hide your little thoughts and actions from me. The blonde young lady showed a sinister smile, put her hands on her hips, and held her head up proudly. She deserves more punishment than she deserves. Bai Yu's eyes turned, then she grinned and asked. Children, do you know what I am thinking about now? The blonde young lady pouted, showing a dissatisfied expression, and corrected. First, I am no longer a child. I am 6.43 billion years old. I don't know how much older than you are. You should call me brother, not little brother. Secondly, I am not a round worm in your belly. I am not interested in knowing what you communicate with your spiritual thoughts. Third, do you still want to enter the library? This is the first time in so many years that I have encountered a guy who disrespects me so much and asks for my mother-in-law when he comes in. If there is nothing wrong, then I will go back. Having said that, the blonde young lady looked like she was going to return to the library and disappear in front of everyone at any moment. Everyone couldn't help but feel speechless. This guy, after living for such a long time, might not have been destroyed in the gray world long ago. This guy has existed in this world before and has gone through an extremely long history. He is simply a living fossil of the divine tree world. However, what everyone did not expect is that this guy not only looks like a child, but also has a personality like a child. A child? You have lived for 6.4 billion years, and you still want to call you brother? Are you shameless? At this time, seeing the figure of the other party gradually becoming illusory, everyone in the Akatsuki organization also felt that we can't delay it any longer, so we should hurry up and enter the rules. After finishing things, enter the library as soon as possible. Xiao Chang'an stood up at this time and asked in a deep voice. Since the seniors said that we need to be tested, then I don't know what kind of test you are talking about. This is right. The blonde young lady seemed to be very satisfied with Xiao Chang'an's name for herself. She said softly, and then said. In fact, the rules are very simple. You need to complete the 3 tests I have given you. Don't worry, these tests are all related to magic knowledge. They will not make things difficult for you, nor will they make you do weird or undignified actions. Of course, based on your attitude towards me just now, it doesn't seem very respectful, so I will increase the difficulty of the test next. Tell you to look down on me. Now you know you were wrong, right? Everyone couldn't help but feel speechless. The consciousness composed of this magical power was like a 3-year-old child. No. Even a 3-year-old child is not so childish and petty. Is this really an old monster that has lived for 6.4 billion years? This question couldn't help but flash through everyone's mind. Such a long time, really lived in X. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 673. Chapter 673. Damn it, is this bee so stingy? Just live for hundreds of billions of years? Are you kidding me? Forget it, it's useless for him to improve the test. Anyway, we will figure it out when the time comes. If it doesn't work, we will use the power of the magic god level to get through here directly. Everyone couldn't help feeling speechless, and they all complained in the chat channel. They have never seen this kind of magical intelligence. It's outrageous. Bai Yu's heart moved slightly, and then said, what kind of test do you need, tell me. We still don't know what the librarian wants to do. The best solution is to stay the same in the face of changes. Let's see what the other party wants to do first. Hey. The young lady smiled, and then said, it's very simple, you just need to decipher the order of the magic circles I created, and that's it. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the Akatsuki organization, including the Dark Knight Alliance, Xing Chen Pavilion, and other core members, all showed strange expressions. Xiao Shota saw every honest expression on his face was a smile, and he said in his heart, "Humph, the array sorting is the most difficult of all tests. Unless you are a genius with the highest magical attainments, it is impossible to crack the order of the magic circle. Tusk, 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 these hateful guys actually dare to look down on me, then wait until they are completely punished by my test." As everyone knows, everyone in Xiao's organization is bursting into laughter in the chat group. Ha ha ha, this guy is really what we are good at, so what is the test? When it comes to the ordering of magic circles, then Senior Deng Buletin has something to say. In the past, all the warriors who passed the level were only able to get to where they are today because of Senior Deng Buletin's cracking of various magic formations. The members of the Akatsuki organization took a long breath. Do you think this test is a big test? If you want to release a magic circle at the level of a magic god, or create some magic, then it will be difficult. It's just a crack. Formation sorting. For Deng Buletin, that is not a problem. Everyone's eyes are also on Deng Buletin. Senior Deng Buletin, I will leave this matter to you. Carrying the high hopes of everyone, Denbu nodded and said, "Leave it to me." Then, he stood at the front of the team, looked at the blonde young lady in front of him with a smile, and said with a smile, "I don't know what test you are talking about." The blonde young lady glanced at Deng Buletin, and for some reason, she had a strange feeling in her heart. This feeling seemed to be that she was ashamed of herself. How can it be? I am the manager of the magic library, in charge of opening the door to knowledge. How could I be intimidated by a human? Huh, he's just a bad old man, what kind of trouble can he cause? In the field of magic, the younger you are, the more adventurous you are. Geniuses become famous at a young age and show their extremely high talents very early. Today, none of you can pass through here. The blonde young lady's expression became serious. The feeling that Denbu brought to him made him feel quite unhappy. Naturally, he had to come up with a more challenging question to stop this group of people. In his heart I had a hunch, if we let these people into the library, something big would happen. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 674. Chapter 674. Ahem. In this case, let the test begin. The blonde young lady coughed lightly and said with a serious expression. Then, endless magical particles emerged in front of him. Instantly, they turned into an array of extremely complex patterns and appeared in front of everyone. Snort. This magic array arrangement is a mechanism array created by the 3rd generation head of the library. Back then, several geniuses came here and were stumped by this mechanism, unable to find a way to crack it. I don't believe that these guys, who have no respect for me at all and look like laymen, can actually decipher the order of this machine array. After setting up the formation, the blonde young shot showed a confident smile, feeling that he was already stable. Back then, when this kingdom of God still existed, there were a lot of geniuses who could not break through this level. These laymen, you still want to pass here? It's all nonsense. If you can break through, then the blonde young lady would rather. Before he could say these dirty words, the next second, Denbu pondered for a moment, and then used magic. During the ordering of this array, it began to be cracked. Bang bang bang. As his magic power burst out from the walnut wand, the sequence of the magic array was cracked at the speed of light, as if there was no difficulty at all. The speed is simply beyond everyone's imagination. At this moment, not to mention the blonde young Shota, others in the Akatsuki organization were also dumbfounded. They are also magicians who know magic and have relatively high magical attainments. When the blonde young lady finished setting up this formation, in fact, everyone else was also thinking about how to break through this formation successfully. However, after everyone thought deeply, they suddenly realized that they wanted to crack the formation. As for the formation, the difficulty is actually extremely high, not that easy. After thinking about it for a moment, everyone couldn't help but feel a little desperate. The difficulty was too high. No matter how hard they thought, they couldn't think of any results, so they just pretended to be dead later. It was so broken that I didn't bother to think about anything anymore. However, it took only a short time for Den Buletin to crack the magic circle. And, his cracking speed exceeded everyone's imagination and was extremely fast. As the magic circle quickly disintegrated amidst a roaring sound, the structure of the magic circle gradually became clear and easy to understand. To crack the magic circle, the first step is often the most difficult, but as long as you find a breakthrough, you can get started finally. The next thing to do is actually very simple. However, although this thing is easy to say, just finding a breakthrough is actually not an easy thing for most magicians. To do it was extremely difficult to reach this point. How could it be done so casually? Den Buletin's speed was beyond everyone's imagination. The blonde young lady was almost dumbfounded and stopped in place blankly. He could watch helplessly as Den Buletin unlocked it crazily, feeling shocked in his heart. In his eyes, Den Buletin's actions were all the most correct and standard solutions, and they were quite smooth. Before he could react, Kaka. The magic circle completely disintegrated, successfully solving this problem. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 675. Great. As expected of Den Buletin, he solved the first question so quickly. Ha, this speed is simply too fast. I didn't even understand what the question was about, but it was already answered by Senior Den Bu. It's so powerful. Senior Den Buletin's understanding of magic is indeed completely different from ours. It's admirable. I thought it was really that difficult to sort out such a difficult array, but wasn't it suddenly broken through? Dumble, YYDS. The members of the Akatsuki organization all shouted excitedly. Not only because of excitement and happiness, but also because the so-called librarian was so arrogant and felt that they, a group of humans, could not solve the problem. This difficult problem. That self-satisfied look was simply too much to beat. Now, they laughed so wildly, which was actually to give this blonde young lady a face. This guy would not always think that he is invincible. Looks like he has the only truth in the world. What? How can this be? You solved this problem so quickly, are you kidding me? The blonde boy's eyes widened and he stood still for a long time. It was hard to imagine that all this was happening in front of him. It was so harsh to hear these laughters in his ears. It was simply unacceptable. It took the blonde young lady a long time to admit that this was the truth. When she looked at Den Bu, she gritted her teeth. Damn it! You underestimated this guy. Such a bad old man, he didn't expect to have such a profound knowledge of magic sorting. It seems that the iron plate must have been kicked. The blonde young shot took a deep breath, and then began to pay attention to the strength of the Kixiao organization and others, and secretly said in his heart. Every magician actually has his own area of expertise. This question I asked cannot be answered so quickly and accurately even if ordinary Dharma gods come. That's right, this bad old man must be a magician who specializes in the field of magic circles. Usually, magic in this field requires long-term research to accumulate experience. It must be impossible to separate other minds and specialize in the main field of magic. Very good, in that case, then I will use a secret magic to let them know directly that real magic cannot be defeated by experience at all. The blonde young lady grinned. She already had the attention of the members of the Xiao organization. Then she coughed lightly, and the shock on her face disappeared. Then she regained her indifferent expression, nodded slightly and said. It seems that you have some ability, but it is not that simple to pass my test. Next, I will use domain-level magic to turn this area into some kind of magical domain. As we all know, magic is a special esoteric language in this world that communicates the power of special heaven and earth and opens the door to the supreme truth. If you want to break magic and defeat magic, you can only rely on magic itself. At the same time, if you want to break the realm of magic, you must be trapped in the realm and be proficient in magic in order to break through it. Next, your test is to break the magic field. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 676. Chapter 676. After the blonde young lady finished saying these words, she rolled her eyes slightly and smiled secretly in her heart. Humph, last time I asked a rather off-topic question, but I didn't expect that I hit a shortcoming. This time, at the level of the magic field, it is a real hardcore magic attainment. If you don't have enough magical mysteries, trying to crack the magic field is nothing short of a fantasy. I don't believe that this bad old man not only has such terrible attainments in the research of magic circles, but also has achieved such high achievements in the main field of magic. The blonde young lady smiled coldly in her heart, feeling that she had already defeated these people. However, the expressions of everyone in the Xiao organization did not change at all. After all, the people they encountered when they were conquering various magic circle rituals just now, the difficulty is actually no lower than breaking through the magic field. Although they have not encountered similar tests, they have overcome difficulties of the same level step by step. Naturally, there is no reason to be timid or retreat. Come here, I don't believe that Senior Den Buletin's achievements can't break through your mere realm. The prodigal sword smiled arrogantly and directly let out his heroic words. Domain-level power is no longer an unreachable realm for everyone in the Akatsuki organization and other members here. All the magicians here are possessing the realm of a Dharma saint. Reaching the realm of a saint, domain-level understanding abilities will naturally be born. Therefore, any magician here can actually cast the magic domain. Breaking the domain, it is better than it is a collision between the magic field and the magic field. Whoever's field is stronger can win the final victory. But in fact, with the authority of the blonde young Shota, if a question is to be asked as a test, he wants to cast the magic god in the field of level, that level is completely insufficient. After a period of intelligence analysis, everyone in the Xiao organization also knew that this blonde young Shota, if he did not touch any rules, could only use up to an unlimited number of conventional tests. It is close to the power authority of the god of law. Going up, I am afraid that the alarm system of the library will be triggered, or the dangerous mode will be triggered, and it will be determined that everyone in the Akatsuki organization actually broke into the library by force without obtaining certification. In this way, under the circumstances, it is possible to trigger that the blonde young shot has obtained the authority of the magic god level, which will cause a lot of danger to everyone here. But as long as it is not the magic god level, everyone has reason to believe that with Den Buletin the current level of magic can already deal with all problems. Good. The blonde young lady stopped talking nonsense and immediately activated the magical mysteries around her, turning it into a field that immediately covered everyone in the Akatsuki organization, including other members. He chuckled and said, "You can break through this magical field if you work together. Okay, I'll save you from thinking." However, before the blonde young lady finished speaking, an extremely powerful magical aura suddenly released from around Denbu. His magic field seemed to be piercing through the sky, rushing directly towards the nearby magic field. Boom! Boom! With a shaking sound, this area suddenly suffered a heavy blow. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 677. Chapter 677, Why not go to the Imperial Capital Library? How can it be? Can these guys really shake such a powerful field? Absolutely fake. This must be fake. When the blonde young lady noticed the state of the realm, she was immediately shocked beyond measure. She was stunned and couldn't believe that all of this was true. These guys really shook the realm. They did it all. Wrong. It's not finished yet. Behind this field, there is also the understanding of the Dharma God. If you just rely on arrogant magic power, you will never be able to completely break this field. Humph, I am an old man with a white beard like Xiaoqiao. Unexpectedly, in addition to having such a powerful magic circle attainment, his own magic power and the condensed magic field are so powerful, beyond my expectations. But no matter how powerful it is, if you don't have the magical understanding of the Dharma God level, it will still be impossible to break through this field. This is the suppression of the personality. Do you understand what Dharma God is? Do you understand what a person is? The shock in the heart of the blonde young lady gradually calmed down. The accident that Deng Buledin brought to him really surprised him. However, this field has not been completely broken, and the real big head is still behind. The understanding of the Dharma God. That's right. Even if it encounters violent turmoil, the field is still as solid as a rock and has never been shaken in the slightest. This field is definitely not that easy to unlock. Among the permissions that the blonde young shot can use, it is difficult. He can definitely hold up to the top 3. Wanting to break through, is completely beyond the reach of ordinary people. At this moment, the magic power emerging from Denbu suddenly became extremely powerful. At that moment, his eyes seemed to possess infinite wisdom, seeing through everything. He raised the walnut wand in his hand. Denbu softly chanted the magic incantation, and immediately communicated with the nearby arcane runes, and began to flow crazily. The core of the domain was instantly analyzed and broken open, turning into fragments one after another, and began to fall apart. The entire domain could not remain intact as it was at the beginning, and many loopholes appeared. The void began to collapse and the interior began to become chaotic. In the collision, the entire field was like an egg with a hole broken, becoming fragile and unable to support it. What on earth is this? The blonde young lady was so frightened that she could not speak. He saw how Dumble did it. That's right. Denbu solved the core of the Dharma God, saw through its ordering, and specified the corresponding solution. Therefore, after all, it is his field that is superior. In the same situation where they were infinitely close to the Dharma God, but still one step away from the Dharma God, Deng Buledin actually unlocked the code left by the Dharma God and broke through the formation, making everyone feel extremely shocked. Finally, boom! A violent sound echoed at the door of the library. The field laid out by the blonde young lady was completely unable to hold up and turned into fragments one after another. From then on, there was only the myth of Denbu's conquest of this place, but no unsolvable problems. The blonde young Shota took a deep breath and said speechlessly, "These people are so powerful, why don't they go to the Imperial Capital Library instead of coming to this small place? Are you sick?" Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 678. Chapter 678. The Imperial Capital Library is the most famous palace of magic knowledge among the ruins of the God of Magic. It contains endless magical knowledge and will be admired by all. It is a place that all magicians in this ruins, including those at the Dharma God level, dream of. However, if you want to enter this vast palace, the conditions are naturally very harsh. It requires at least Dharma God level attainments in 3 different magic fields. Just now, Deng Buledin was able to untie the magic circle so easily. In the eyes of the blonde young lady, he already had attainments at the level of a magic god. In addition, The magic field has been cracked, being able to break through all magic god level domains of this level, at least in 2 different mystical fields, there are magic god level attainments. Even from the perspective of the blonde young lady, the speed displayed by Deng Buletin, including the perfection of analysis, was even better than that of ordinary Dharma gods. This was the real reason for his shock. Who are these people and why are they so powerful? The blonde young lady felt that she was a little dizzy. Just now, when the fields collided, we could sense several magicians who were helping us. In fact, their attainments were not low. If it were put in the usual test, I'm afraid they would all be qualified. Pass the review of this library? He was a little confused. These people are so powerful, why don't they go to the Imperial Capital Library? What are they doing here pretending to be pigs and eating tigers? Come in, come in. The blonde young lady was completely shaken. She waved her hand impatiently and said to Deng Buletin and others. Ah! At this moment, Deng Buletin and others all showed doubtful looks. Didn't they agree to pass 3 tests? Why are there only 2 now? As a result, the blonde young lady told them that they could go in. Stop pretending. Your strength is more than enough when you enter here. It would be a waste of time for me and you to conduct redundant tests. The blonde young lady rolled her eyes, wondering why these people were so ignorant that they even let you in. Are they so looking forward to the 3rd test question? Everyone couldn't help but smile. It turns out that this one is almost at the level of a magic god. In the field of magic, entering the library is almost the most difficult question. Of course, it may not be the most difficult question, but it is probably almost the same. The most difficult question, compared to the magic god level field, is probably it won't be much more difficult. But if Denbu shows great difficulty in solving this question, I'm afraid, the blonde young lady will still let them continue the test. It means that another question may have a chance to stump them. But Denbu acted too calmly. It seemed that he didn't need to use any strength at all. The realm of the god of magic was instantly broken. The blonde young lady also knew that if he continued to test, it would only give the opponent experience for upgrading. It's just worth it. It's better to let them in as soon as possible, so that you can appear more generous. Of course, his personality has collapsed, and it is impossible to change other people's impressions. Everyone in the Akatsuki organization can't help but smile at each other. Sure enough, it was Deng Buletin who had to take action to pass the test so easily. Buzz buzz. Passing through the light curtain, everyone came to the interior of the library. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 679. Chapter 679. In the library of the Dharma God's ruins, the brilliance of endless mystical knowledge spreads everywhere. As far as the eye can see, it is built in the style of a medieval palace, but the interior space is even more majestic, like a giant palace. Looking up at the dome, it feels like reaching directly to the stars in the universe. Rows of bookshelves are placed in the center of the hall, with books on display. Bai Yu opened her eyes and looked at everything around her, with a look of surprise in her eyes. The atmosphere inside this library is really beyond my imagination. I saw that there is endless profound knowledge and a lot of aura here, which is directly comparable to the level of a Dharma god. I have a premonition that there will be unexpected and shocking harvests this time. In addition, the magicians in the Wizarding Academy generally awaken from the magic tree. Their perception of magic is actually stronger than others. Good. Then we will split up and explore this library as soon as possible, hoping to gain stronger power. Xiao Chang'an looked around, and after confirming that there was no risk, he said with a smile. Everyone also nodded. The area of this magic library is extremely vast, and it is difficult to complete it in a day. Of course, they spread out and searched separately. With their own opportunities, they can have better harvests. Then, everyone began to search the library carpet-like. At this moment, someone discovered the rules of this library and said, "Everyone, the knowledge in this library seems to be divided into levels. These books have spiritual intelligence and require a certain amount of magical attainments to open them." When Longzhijian heard the news, he immediately became angry and said with a smile, "Gee, it's actually a test of magic skills. I wonder what level of magic book I can open." His eyes fell on one of the spell books on the bookshelf and tried to open it. At this moment, the whole body of the prodigal son sword was suddenly filled with the radiance of magical mysteries. It seemed to be certified by this book. The knowledge inside began to spread. The magical radiance was cast, as if it was an initiation. Damn it, this magic book automatically gave me the light of enlightenment without having to read and analyze it myself, inputting all these understandings into my mind. It is equivalent to directly obtaining the knowledge inside. I can actually use magic to create a field of wind. Although in the world of the Divine Tree Master, the field of wind is not considered a very strong field, at least it is still a field. I can achieve the same field effect just by using magic, and this is just one of the skills. I have to say that when magic reaches a certain level, it's so exciting. Liang Zijian said with excitement. When other people in the Xiao organization saw this scene, they were not calm at all. Just reading a book, can you obtain domain level skills? This is so cool. Ah! Xiao Chang'an's eyes moved slightly and he smiled. I'll also open a book and read it. However, when Xiao Chang'an chose a book, he tried to open it. As a result, the book didn't move at all. It couldn't be opened at all. Alas, is it because my magic skills are not enough? Xiao Chang'an was stunned and said in disbelief. The prodigal sword next to him said with a smile, "It seems that this book is extraordinary. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning." Author, Immortal. Chapter 680. Chapter 680. At this time, everyone in the Akatsuki organization also reacted. Since even the magic skills of the prodigal son sword cannot open this book, then it means that the level and authority of this magic book are quite high. Only a strong man at the level of a magic god can possess such magic knowledge. I'll try it too. I'll add one too. The other members of the Akatsuki organization couldn't help the excitement in their hearts and came over one after another. Just because the Wanderer sword is not good, it doesn't mean that others can't do it either. Maybe they can open the magic book. In this case, they can also laugh at the Wanderer sword. In the Akatsuki organization, this is already one of the things that the members who are familiar with each other like to see. Baiyu and others came forward one after another, trying to open the magic book. However, when they putting his hands on the book, no matter how hard he exerted force, the book remained motionless and rock solid, as if it was stuck with glue. It was not a normal book at all. Ha ha ha, you still want to laugh at me, but it turns out you can't open it. Liang Zijian couldn't help but laugh, feeling extremely happy in his heart. What a risk, what a risk. Not only could he not be able to open the book, other members of the Xiao organization could not open the book either. Tisk tisk. My own status and face. It's saved. Wait, if we can't open it, then maybe Senior Dumble is qualified to open this magic book. According to what the librarian said, Senior Denbu's magical attainments should have reached the level of a magic god. If we say that some of the magic books here require magical attainments at the level of a magic god before they can be opened. There are many magic books in this library that we don't have permission to open, but Senior Denbu might have a chance. Onel's eyes lit up slightly and he made the suggestion. What you said makes sense. Xiao Chang'an smiled, and then contacted Deng Buletin. Senior, Come here and see if you can open this magic book. Deng Buletin pondered for a moment and immediately rushed over. Let me try. The next second, the moment he put his hands on the magic book, the endless radiance of mysteries suddenly became as bright as day, lighting up the palace. Everyone's minds were slightly shaken. They all sensed a transcendent energy. The breath of mysteries is transmitted from the book. At this moment, this magic book seems to be connected to the starry sky dome of the main hall, empowered with endless knowledge. The starlight falls around Deng Buletin, setting off his whole body with precious light, like a god. Deng Buletin's Inchin was immediately immersed in the vast knowledge. After a moment, he opened his eyes slightly. At that moment, his eyes contained wisdom, and the level of magic seemed to have risen to a higher level. What this book records is a special way of practicing magic. With the spiritual operation method inside, it can be converted into magic power close to the original source to a greater extent, thereby breaking through the realm of Dharma Saint and reaching the level of Dharma God. I feel like this method of operation is very suitable for you. However, the knowledge inside needs to be understood slowly, don't be too anxious. I will break down this knowledge into levels you can understand, and then transfer it to you. Denbu thought for a moment, and then shared his thoughts with everyone in the Xiao organization.